Yo, back with another weekly challenge run. This week it's Clockstopper, Tyrannical, and Ignite. So the timer only goes up when you move, and when you do move, you get a 50% damage buff, but obviously the goal is to win in as little time as possible, so don't move too much. You'll see on this wave, I'm aiming away from the mobs on purpose so that they get on top of me before they die, and that's just so that when they die and drop their spark, it's right on top of me, so I get the full XP value rather than the reclamation value. And I do a similar thing on this wave, where I'm trying to just aim away from the boss to keep him alive as long as possible. You can go like way more sweaty on this wave if you want to, where you turn off auto attack, and you only shoot when you are for sure not going to hit the boss, and you can farm a lot of levels on this wave. But I don't think it actually is going to help you that much. A lot of the success of the run is just determined by like factors other than how high a level you are. The levels are nice, especially for this. Range level ups are really important for just being stable. You saw I picked up the Lightstone there, which will help out. It means I can take a lot more damage and heal back a lot more consistently. I'm not going to be boosting, obviously, because that would run up the timer. But Lightstone is still just so much healing, even just firing normally. Plus it has the lifesteal on top of it. On this wave, I'm doing the same thing where I'm aiming away from the majority of the mobs. I'm just aiming specifically at the helicopter guys and the like blue worm guys, because they'll kill you if you ignore them. I picked up Assurance. I think that's by far the most important shell protocol for this challenge. It's the only consistent way I found to make it deep into the run without moving. And even like in the later waves where there's just tons and tons of mobs, it's a really good way to keep them under control, because there's just more mobs than bullets if you don't have Assurance. So Assurance, very, very good. On this wave, I'm also doing a lot of manual aiming. My goal is to kill those spider guys and to let the gray guys in so I get their full XP value. That wave's also a little bit RNG. Occasionally you'll die if you get really bad RNG, but it's not very common. And RNG is just the boss attack patterns. You want the one where he comes into the middle and spins around. All the other ones give you like very little DPS uptime, so you just want high DPS uptime. On this wave, you see I'm letting auto aim take over. And that is until you see these eyeballs get inside of me and kind of bug out my aim. And I start doing a little more auto aiming just to make sure I'm killing those helicopter guys and the spider tanks, because they're the most dangerous. As well as the snail guys are a little dangerous too. But yeah, when an eyeball gets inside your character and just starts like whipping your aim around, you want to take over. Picked up Static Field. I tried a lot of different specials, and I think Static Field is just the best. You saw there, like, all those mobs charged in, and I get to kill them all with the Static Field. They also die on top of me, so I get the full XP, and I also get Assurance procs to pelt the boss with some more damage. It's Tyrannical this week, so the bosses have a lot more health, and they do more damage, so it actually makes them pretty dangerous. Particularly that first boss, and the Corrupt Mirage coming up on the next wave. I think if you could, like, somehow get past both of those bosses with Blood Temple, you'd be in a crazy spot for the rest of the run. Yeah, I should say with Blood Temple without moving, or with, you know, very, very little movement. I tried to do that a lot, and I couldn't get it, so I gave up. I went back to the Static Field. If you watched my older Clockstopper videos, I believe I picked Static Field on all this too. Static Field is just a really good, really efficient special. It does just a lot of damage per use. So that means you saw I rolled past the strike reflex there. I rolled into the Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is pretty good. It's just generally just a high percent damage buff. And when you're not running Blood Temple, the percent damage from Eagle Eye is actually pretty good. There's my first movement of the run. I'm trying to minimize it as much as possible while also not taking damage, and then also I'm trying to dodge towards the boss to increase the effectiveness of my balloon cannons. Because you're closer, more of the bullets will hit the mob. Completed my Fulguration. Now, I think the other resonance I build a lot of the time is Induration. I think Fulguration is for sure weaker, even with the Ignite modifier this week, where your burn damage just happens instantly. You see the burn damage, it's hitting for like 100 to 120 on those guys. I don't know if it's actually enough to one-shot them. And I feel like if it's not one-shotting them, it's just not really that good. So I think the primary reason for building Fulguration first over Induration is if you get early Lightstones. Lightstones are very, very powerful, even on this challenge where you're not taking like Blood Temple, so you aren't really turning the healing into damage. You're turning the healing into not moving, which is less time on the timer, which is good. On the second one, I'm gonna go ahead and just build a Induration on that. But I'll say even with the Ignite, I think Induration is significantly stronger than Fulguration. And I think Ignite actually... I think it's actually like a bad modifier. I don't think it increases your damage, really. Well, I mean, it definitely doesn't increase your, like, overall damage. Because all it does is it makes your burn damage happen instantly, rather than over 3 seconds, I believe is the default. Your burn damage will tick 3 times. But it's just Fulguration just does less damage than Induration to the target it hits, and then the Induration can also like crit, I believe, so it does a lot more damage on the bosses. There's another Lightstone, but I've already committed to the Induration on the second thing. I think if I got that earlier, I'd probably go double Fulguration. I don't know how good it would be, but if I got that Lightstone earlier, I definitely would have tried it. And I don't think it's worth putting the Lightstone like on the turns and duets or anything like that, because then you delay getting your second Resonance online, which is a huge power spike. You definitely don't want to delay that. I'm taking a lot of damage here, but I'm holding steadfast because I know I have a lot of healing. I think I end up moving a little bit at the end of this. See, I moved right at the end because I'm low HP and more bullets about to hit me. I was a little scared I was going to die there, so I just boost into some sparks on the ground and I get a huge damage burst on the boss. Picking the Revive, I like Revive a lot. Once you have your damage kind of like taken care of, I think Revive is one of the better defensive shell protocols. If I had the option between Revive and Mirror Image, I think I would have picked the Mirror Image. So I like Mirror Image a bit more. That it gives you 3 free hits every wave. So it's more like consistently useful. Once your Revive is used, it's gone. It's not like you can revive every wave. That would be insane. I guess another thing I haven't really talked about is how I'm using the static field. So on the mob waves, I tend to not use it. I want to hold it for the boss waves. And I'll use it on the boss waves even when the boss isn't in range of me, and that's because when you have static field up, it gives you plus 20% to elemental damage. You see I pop it here, the boss is nowhere near me. It's nice because I'm manually aiming into the boss here just to do as much DPS to it as possible. Because if this boss moves into a spot where it can hit you, it'll kill you really, really fast. And it's kind of RNG, just where you like start the fight and where the boss kind of moves to. But that boss can be really dangerous if you just take a bunch of hits from it. So the static field is nice because it kills the mobs that get close to me, and then it also gives you just a flat plus 20% elemental damage whenever you have it up. And a lot of the damage in this build is actually elemental. So all the burn damage from the Fulguration's elemental. The Induration damage is elemental. Even though all of my weapons are physical, the majority of the damage I'm actually doing is elemental from the resonances. So Static Field is good to pop even when the field itself isn't doing damage. But on the mob waves, I don't need it, so I want to, and I don't have Strike Reflex, so I want to conserve my charges for the boss waves. This is another guy really, really dangerous. You saw there, he just ulted me with a ton of bullets. I end up popping my revive here. It's, and I think that last little dodge, or last little boost I did, if I didn't dodge his shots with that, I probably would have died right there. So that guy can be super, super dangerous. And on this wave, you see those like dark blue guys? They spawn mortars. Usually by the time you're this far into a run, like wave 17, you're totally fine on these waves. But one thing I didn't mention earlier in the run, like on wave 11 is when they first show up, I believe. Sometimes you'll want to manually aim into them because they can be pretty dangerous. That's more of a concern with the other shells. I think Bloodfang is pretty good at handling those guys because you have the Crimson Duets, which are medium range, I believe, so they're pretty good at killing them before they reach you. And also if you have a lot of range, then just the bloom cannons kill those guys really fast. Here's the chariot boss. You see, the boss isn't on the screen at all, so I'm kind of just letting the game auto aim for me. And then here I'm manual aiming and rolling the static field to kill any of the mobs that make it to my character. But depending on where you are and like how much range you have, this could be a long fight. But as long as you just kind of treat it as a normal, and you can also farm XP on that. But like I said, I don't, especially this late in the run, I don't think farming XP is really worth it. But you'll probably have to do a lot of manual aiming on that boss, and it can take a long time, depending on where you are in the room. Wave 19, the last mob wave. Weird because this wave is actually pretty easy. I think it's because you have Assurance and there are just so many mobs, including like those really weak gray guys, that you just have so many extra shots from the Assurance that nothing's a problem at all. If you do get overwhelmed, you can pop Static Field. But I think it's pretty rare. I do a little bit of manual aiming here too. Since I'm killing things so far away, the auto aiming will tend to fire like way more bullets than you need at a mob. So I'm kind of just doing like strafing runs with my bloom cannons, trying to spread my bullets out as much as possible. Now here I'm manual aiming too, just to get maximum hits on the boss. Those missiles hurt a lot. That's why you see I dodged there. I dodged the second missile. I got hit by the first and third. But if you eat all three of those missiles, you're probably going to die. That's another reason why the mirror image is really, really good. Because specifically for that attack, if you absorb all three missiles with that, you can just stand still. And I don't skip the second phase because you don't have, burn damage is different on this. But second phase isn't too big a deal as long as you dodge. You'll have to move a little bit to dodge the attacks because it does that boss just does a lot of damage. But yeah, that's the run. I think it could be improved a lot. But I don't think you can do 0 seconds this week just because the Tyrannical is a little hard to deal with and the Ignite isn't, like I said, it's not really a positive affix. The only thing positive about it is it lets you take Lightstones early rather than in duration, and it's a little more effective. But Yeah, I didn't push too hard for this just because one of these weeks I want to do a 0-second time. I think it'd be so cool to achieve, but I don't think it's possible this week, so I didn't push too hard for it. Yeah, thanks for watching the video. I'll probably post a few more pretty soon coming up here. I've had a lot more time to play Vital Shell this week. My main game, like I said before, is World of Warcraft. My guild Mythic Laura, so I'm kind of a lot more free time now since we're not raiding 4 days a week anymore. So yeah, look out for that. I got PBs on Mirage and Meteor. I think they're pretty cool runs. So, catch you later.